Hi. Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. I'm a rainbow unicorn. Why? Why am I a rainbow unicorn? Well, because I said a thing, and I'm a woman of my word. I got a tweet not too long ago from an Andy L, who said, "Hey, you still doing that thing where if we send you a costume, you'll wear it in a video?" And I said, "Yep." And I'm always a little apprehensive when I say yes to that, because I'm, of course, expecting someone to send me something ridiculously scantily clad or racy or something like that. And instead, a few days later, I get this. A rainbow unicorn onesie. And I love it, guys. I love it so much. And along with that, I got a note. I'm going to pull this back a little so that I can see. I got a note from Andy asking me if I could address in my video the difference between characters like Rey and Carol Danvers, who have no defining feminine traits at all, and older heroes that absolutely do, like Princess Leia or Ripley from the Alien franchise. And I would love to address that point, Andy. I think that is a fantastic topic to talk about. I hope you all can take me seriously while I'm dressed as a rainbow unicorn. So, here's wearing obviously the perfect garb to demonstrate my absolute wonderful femininity. Fun side note, when I first put this on, my cat was scared of me. Han was like, "Who are you?" And had to reach up and touch my face to assure himself it was me. But anyway, without further ado, feminism and why movies are doing it bad today. Now, here's the impetus of the discussion. Can you have a good, well-written, strong female lead who is not particularly feminine? Yeah. I mean, Ripley is not super feminine. She's not, especially in Alien. The only real feminine side we get of her is when you see her in her PJ things, when you sexualize her body a little bit. But aside from that, she's not a super ultra feminine character. There's nothing very womanish about her. But there's nothing not at the same time, and there are a few moments like that one. Now, when you move from Ripley, from Alien into Aliens, now you're absolutely talking more female characteristics. One of the things that makes that movie so powerful is her maternal instincts, which really fire up and kick in there and make her different from the other Marines that she's on this expedition with. So I don't think that you're going to reach the fullest potential for your female characters without acknowledging what makes them women. Because without that, it's really not a feminist story or a film about feminist empowerment, which is why Captain Marvel is not a feminist movie and why Rey is not a feminist hero or a feminist character. In order to be a feminist hero or a good feminist character, your character has to do or show or demonstrate something about being female that's important or meaningful. They have to be breaking down barriers for women. Even if it's a barrier as simple as, I'm doing a thing that classically a man would do, which Ripley does actually, just simply, Sigourney Weaver does simply by playing Ripley in the first Alien. That character was written as a man. She took that and was like, don't change a thing. Here I go. So that, in a way, okay, you're playing a role that traditionally would have been a woman, that was imagined as a woman, and you're stepping into that was written as a man, that was imagined as a man, and you're stepping in this role as a woman. You're not trying to hide your femininity. You're not disguising it. You're not trying to remove it from yourself. You are being that 100% woman that you are, just in a role that was written for a man. That has its own brand of feminism attached to it. Because again, they're not pointedly writing out her femininity. They're not taking it away. And they absolutely add it back in now that they're writing for this character in Aliens and show just how much more powerfully they can use the strong, badass woman by throwing in those maternal instincts. That's why the best feminist character in Captain Marvel is not Carol Danvers, but is actually Maria Rambeau, who is a strong, tough badass just like Carol Danvers is, but is also dealing with the fact of being a single mom. She's dealing with her relationship with her daughter as well as her own badassery and strength and things like that. So, what you have with someone like Carol Danvers, what you have someone like Rey, or you have two women who have nothing about them that makes them a woman. There's nothing about either of those characters. They don't even have any sexual tension with other people. I guess arguably Rey and Kylo Ren do now. But there's nothing about them. They don't have love interests. They don't wear particularly feminine clothing, which is fine. You don't have to dress them up and show off their tits and their boobs and whatnot and anything like that. They don't do or say or act in any way that is definingly woman. You have Princess Leia. She's a princess. She's dressed like a princess a lot of the times. Part of what makes her arc so powerful is when she is objectified sexually, when she's set up in her little metal bikini, and she takes that moment where she's lost all of her agency and her power, and turns it around by strangling Jabba the Hutt with her hands and a chain, but mostly her hands, right? Those are the moments that are powerful. Without acknowledging this femininity, without calling attention to it, without somehow setting it up as a weakness, you give them nothing to achieve and overcome. Without setting up the struggle, there is no success and there is no catharsis. So when you give Carol Danvers a completely pedestrian struggle, I can't remember everything. People didn't always think I was strong. That motif, by the way, of people didn't think she was strong enough or good enough, that's not an intrinsically female motif. Captain America, he had the same effing motif in the beginning of the first Captain America film. The whole beginning of that was how Steve Rogers was scrawny and pathetic and too weak, and he wasn't strong enough to this, and he wasn't strong enough to that, and then he got all his superpowers, and now he's super strong. It's the same conceit in both of those films. So there's nothing about that struggle that is pointedly female. Same thing with Rey. Rey, I don't even know what her struggle is. Her struggle is, I want my mommy and daddy, I guess. There's nothing female about her struggle, about the issues that she faces. So there's nothing gratifying. There's nothing for her to overcome, period. Right? But that's the whole thing, is to be a human is to struggle. To be a woman is to struggle in ways that are not always the same as how you struggle as a man. And to refuse to acknowledge those differences is sexist. Women and men are not the same. We don't have the same experiences. We don't have the same wiring. Biologically, we're very different. Physiologically, we're very different. In our emotional makeup, we are very different. And to refuse to acknowledge those differences is inherently sexist. And that's what characters like Rey and Carol Danvers show us beyond a shadow of a doubt. Acknowledging the difference between someone like Princess Leia and Han Solo, who are similar in their approach. They're headstrong, they're opinionated, they don't back down from a fight. All of these things, right? They have in common, but their key differences are the way that she holds herself as a princess and the way that she interacts with him, where he is a lowly smuggler, and in some ways he has the freedom of not being bound by duty and honor and law, and in some ways she has the power of her position, and these two things mix together and create this beautiful relationship and this beautiful chemistry. And without acknowledging those key differences between the way a woman conducts herself in the rebellion and a man conducts himself in the rebellion, we don't have those beautiful moments. That's one of the many reasons why the Rey-Kylo Ren chemistry just doesn't work, why it's so forced and awkward, and why there was no organic chemistry that blossomed between Rey and Finn, because you don't have those differences. We don't have those defining features that make her a woman and therefore put her in a situation where she reacts as a woman does, where she can overcome things as a woman does. Now that's this new world we're building to, where everyone's exactly the same. But the reality is, without genetic modification, that is never going to happen. And the second we stop acknowledging that there are differences between the sexes, and those differences are what make it so great to coexist in the world that has both men and women. That's what makes it so fun. Those differences are integral in our existences. As soon as we start denying those differences, we start losing as a society, as a culture. And that is all I have to say about this, because I'm starting to get really sweaty in this costume. So thank you, Andy, for the unicorn suit and the topic. Thank you guys for listening. Press that like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below. Anything else you wanna say on the subject, by all means share it. Share this video. Click that Get Involved With Me video popping up. That will have all the things like t-shirts. We got Fifi's t-shirts now. I'm so excited. Fifi's are like feelings only cuter. Get the t-shirts. Check out things like, there's all the links to my Patreon, my social media, all different ways you can get involved with this channel and help it grow. So thank you guys so much for watching. I so appreciate it, and we'll talk again real soon.